Hey there everyone, Hitesh here, and before we move in this video, I would like to mention a topic which we have already studied, but we actually didn't discuss the formal name of it. So if you remember in the closure, we were able to do something like this, the two parentheses, and it's not just about two parentheses. You're going to see something like this. We have a do addition from the last video, and we can have these, but there is a high chances that you might be having like 3 inputs and probably more of that. Now this concept is known as currying, so I would just like to write it for you. So this is entire currying topic, and it's not really JavaScript-ish, it's there in other languages as well. So in case you get asked to this in the interview, don't get stressed out. This is exactly what we studied in the closure, and it's also known as currying. So just wanted to give you a fact on that, that yes, we have studied that, but we haven't actually discussed the name of it. And it happens quite a lot with me that I don't really give too much attention on the naming part. I give attention moreover in understanding the concept, because I firmly believed if you can build that up, you eventually grab the concept in just one go. Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about few of the binding properties as well as some of the other properties which are there in the object. So for this one, in order to understand this, first we have to write some code on the code editor. Then we have to bring this code onto our browser, and then we have to understand again the prototype, and then we'll come back here when I'll understand all of this. So again, just follow along with me and it's going to be all good. So let's just say this time we are not creating a prototype or a generic user. We are just specifically creating a user, Hitesh. Let's go ahead and write an object for it. So we are going to have a few properties of that. So first and foremost, we are going to have a first name, and there we go. This is my name, no problem in that. We're gonna have a last name as well, and there we go. Now what else? We are gonna have a role as well. Let's just say the role is admin, and we are gonna have a course count as well. Let's just call it as 3 maybe. Any given number will be working. The most important part is there should be at least one method inside this object. It can be any method, but I'm gonna write a bit of elaborative method, a bit longer one, so that we have some of the data to work on with that. So I'm going to call this one as just get info, not into get info, but that would be nice name also. But let's just say we're having this function just like this, and there we go. Inside this, we're going to have a simple console.log. I'll use the backticks and hit enter one more time because it gives me more of the freedom to write whatever I want to write inside the console log. So I'm going to say something like this. First name is, and then I'm going to use the $sign, these guys, and in order to reference any variable from this object, remember we used this keyword. So I'm going to say this dot first name, and we're going to have a duplicate of that. So we're going to say last name is, and then we're going to go ahead, grab the last name, and we're going to say his role is, and we're gonna get the role as well. So we're gonna say this dot role, and lastly we're gonna say how many courses is he studying, and we're gonna say and he is studying, there we go, he's studying courses. So here we're gonna inject the variable name, which is gonna be this dot course count. There we go. Okay, now the only thing that you have to remember here is the importance of this keyword. Remember, I told you that this keyword inside the function is actually pointing towards all of these values. This is the only thing that you should remember right now. Now let's go ahead and copy all of this. Go to the browser and open up your console. Any page console is going to work fine, whether it is Mozilla or any other website have you opened up, doesn't really matter. We are not tinkering around with the website. Let's go ahead and hit enter. And it says, hey, you got some of the issues here. Yeah, got it. My bad. I actually did it accidentally wrong. I know most of you already have got this one. So yeah, it was not equal. It was colons. Yeah, I do make these kinds of typos sometimes. So let's go ahead and copy this again. Let's clean everything up. Probably hit a reload. And yes, you need to see these parts as well, that yes, I do make a typo. Making typo is not really a boo thing. Not able to find that out what you are missing. The most important skill is debugging. So in case you want to make fun of it, please go ahead. I don't mind it. Okay. So we got this object here, no problem this time. And when I run this object, we see that all the properties are mentioned up here. But what's most important here is, let me just run this property again. What's more important about these properties is this prototype. So I told you almost everything in JavaScript is an object, and there are certain behind the scene object properties being attached to almost anything or everything that you do. Once you have these, we previously saw them in the arrays, that we have length property and a bunch of others as well. Similarly, when you define a simple object, there are some properties attached to them. And when there are some methods defined inside the object, there are another some properties attached to it, also known as prototype properties. And some of them are pretty familiar to you. Like, for example, we have got all of these once here prototype. But interestingly, you're going to notice that if I open up this getInfo method, there are again certain prototype properties being attached to this one. Remember the two different things? Some properties are attached to the entire object, and some properties are attached towards the method inside the object. And we are interested in this one, the properties which are attached to the method inside the object. So if I open up this proto, notice some of the keywords here: the bind, the call, caller, constructor, length, name, toString. There are a whole lot of things that are designed up here. Just onto a quick sidebar. In case you have watched my videos, earlier videos when the React was in kind of version 1, this bind keyword was being used quite a number of times, and a whole lot of people didn't understood that why this bind is being used so much. This is classic JavaScript, and bind is a keyword which you are never going to avoid as long as JavaScript is here. Surely in the modern ES6 version, we don't use it that much. There are alternatives, but as long as JavaScript is here, bind is going to remain here. So it's better that we understand what it actually does instead of just getting or running from it. Let's go up here. Okay, so after making a couple of typos, these are all good and up here. Let's go ahead and define another one. So I'm going to create another variable here, not variable, constant, but anything. So we're saying DJ for Dwayne Johnson. Yeah, we can have that kind of freedom in this particular case, but let's just say. So we're going to have first name, and first name property is going to be, let's just say I'm going to call him as Rock in the first name. And then we are going to have a last name. And again, I use equal sign, too bad. There we go. So, and I'm going to call this one as last name as DJ. I hope he doesn't mind. And then we're going to have a role as well. Let's just say for some reason he is sub-admin. So sub-admin. And we're going to have another one, which is course count. Maybe he's studying a bit of acting courses and he's taking 4 at the time because, come on, don't go away. Because he's Rock, he can do it. Okay. Now the most important thing comes up. The only difference right now we have is all the 4 properties are exactly same in the object DJ, but this getInfo method is not available there. Let's just say this is the case. So moving further, if I come up here and I say hitesh.getInfo and I try to run this one, let's go ahead and first let me save this and then let's go ahead and run this. We are inside 05 and this one is 06. Oops, 05 and 06. There we go. We get all the information about Hitesh because that method is defined here. But can I go ahead and do something like this? dj.getInfo, something like this. Can I do this? Now, surely I can, but the results are not going to be good for that because this method is never defined. So it says, hey, this is not a function. You never defined it as a variable or function. I cannot run it. Now, the next concept that we're going to study is borrowing of the method. Now, surely you can actually go ahead, copy this method and paste it up here. Because this method is written so generically, as long as these 4 properties are mentioned up here, this method is going to work inside any object. Surely you can copy and paste it, but there is another way of it. Now think of it because imagination is important in understanding the bind. Now, how this method is working and how am I able to call it so generic? Because of this keyword. I'm not hard coding these values. I'm referencing these values using this. And right now, what this is holding is an object Hitesh. But somehow, if I can point this object not to Hitesh, but to DJ, then notice everything is going to work exactly same. Yes, we are pointing. Again, listen to this very carefully. Right now, this is pointing towards Hitesh, and somehow I want that this should point not to the Hitesh but to the DJ. And since all the rest of the properties are available here, this method should work. But not for Hitesh, but for DJ. And this is exactly where your bind comes in. Bind, which we saw just right here in the prototype up here, not this one. So notice here we got a bind, and what bind does actually, it binds the object, but you can change this binding too. Let me show you that. It's actually super easy. So what I can say is I can just come up here and I can simply say bind actually gives you a reference, but let me show you that. So I'm going to just comment that out to make it much more easier. I'm going to say, hey, Hitesh has a method which is getInfo. Okay, that's nice and easy. And it has a prototype. So that means I can go ahead and again put a dot and I can use this bind here. Now, right now, by default, the bind is pointing towards Hitesh, but I can pass on a parameter here. I can say point towards DJ, and that's it. Now this reference is not pointing towards Hitesh, but to DJ. Okay. Now, notice what's going to happen when I run this. And this is the most important thing for you to see up here. Notice what is going to be the result of this? Absolutely nothing. Notice here, nothing. Because bind always gives you a reference back. Now there are two ways of running this. Either the simpler way, just run this like this. When I run this one now, it gives me the exact result, but this time for Rock, Dwayne Johnson, DJ. But in case you don't want to run it like this, you can actually store the reference, and we're going to call this one as DJ info, not Indo, info. And later on, I can say DJ info and run this. Again, both are almost exactly like the same code. At first, I was just running it directly, but here I'm storing a reference. Little bit more onto that, which is exactly like this. Now, just remember one thing, bind always gives you a reference back and you have to run that reference. It's almost like when we call this method, notice here we are actually having a function, but let's just say for some reason you want to return it to somebody. We can actually call this one as getInfo. Why I'm writing in Indo again? There's a difference between a getInfo and writing getInfo. This is a reference to that method, and this is calling that method. So keep that in mind. Okay, coming back onto the point, now you fully understand that how the bind actually works. But if you're going to notice up here, there are a whole lot of methods here. I cannot actually go ahead and discuss all of them. Surely in a project situation, I can work a little bit more, but here comes your skill of reading more documentation. But I'll just show you one just for fun. There is another method which is a call, which works almost similar to like bind, but there is a subtle difference here. I can go up and say Hitesh dot getInfo. Since it has properties, I can go ahead and call it. Again, if you don't pass on anything, that means just point to your default this wherever you were pointing. But if I pass on a DJ here, that means just now this means DJ, not Hitesh. Now, when you run this one, you were expecting no output, but that's where you are wrong. This is going to give us an output, and this one here. So just remember, bind gives you a reference back and you have to manually call that method, while on the other hand, the call actually directly calls it. Again, there are use case and situation for both of them. Which one suits you, just use that. But that's not end of it. The objects which are having methods have a lot of these properties, and even sometimes a whole lot of frameworks actually likes to inject more of these methods behind the scene for you. React has been doing it a lot in the class-based methods. Now it's not that much aggressive, but still there are many of these methods. So they have their own tools that you install. You don't always go into the console log with the React. They have their own console tool that you can install and can figure it out. But actually, that's for some another day behind the scene for the React. But I think you're enjoying this one. So there we go. Now you understood a whole lot about JavaScript, or probably a bit more about JavaScript, however you go with that. So that's it for this one, and let's catch up in the next one.